What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and thank you for checking out this new video. If you can tell, or as you can tell from the title of the video, I have the G in the shop today. We're going to be doing some work on that. As you can also tell from the video, I am swapping out the exhaust. It may surprise some of you, I have the ARC exhaust, the catback exhaust, and the Berk resonated test pipes. And if you ask me, that's one of the best exhausts for the G and Z platform. It sounds great, it makes good power. And, you know, pretty much why would I be swapping out my exhaust is probably the question. Well, way back a couple years ago when I did get the ARC exhaust, it came with some damage. I bought it used, I got a good deal on it, but the two resonators were pretty well collapsed. It was on a very low G prior to me. So the resonators are pretty well collapsed, I'll show you that. And the flex pipes are pretty much falling apart. So that being said, it has some rasp, I believe it's leaking a little bit, and then the internal part of the resonator is collapsed, like I said, so I think that's what's giving it a little bit of rattle, around 3,000 RPMs, and then once you get to the higher RPM range, it kind of has like a little hiss and rattle. So in any event, I found another used exhaust, this one in much better condition. It's an Invidia Q300. It is a little bit smaller piping diameter. I think it's 2.36 inches compared to the ARC, which is 2.5, I believe. So if you really want to split hairs, it probably technically makes a little bit less horsepower, but this car is still on the original tune, which is when I had I think it was still in high flow cats and a muffler delete. So it's still running on that tune even though I have test pipes and a real official catback exhaust. So with throwing this exhaust on there, I'm not really gonna notice any difference, and once I get it tuned, I'll have a better baseline, you know, anyway with the correct exhaust on the car. But in any event, with all that being said, I do love the ARC exhaust, so I'm gonna take that off right now. And I will be getting it fixed. I'll be getting new resonators welded in as well as new flex pipes. So once I get this Invidia on, I'm gonna decide which sound I like better. I'm not super concerned with performance and power right now. This is my daily driver. So while I do want it to perform well, I'm not super, you know, critical on how much power it's gonna make. But if I do decide that I like the ARC, the sound of the ARC better, I'll get that fixed and go ahead and swap it back on. But in any event, I'm gonna get the old exhaust off, get the new one on, and we'll take it from there. Alright guys, so exhaust is off the car. I took it off in one piece, the Y pipe and these two little rear pipes, but I did pull them apart so I can show you the damage here. But first, as you can see how crazy this damage is, the front part of these resonators are pretty much smashed, and then you got the flex pipes here, which look just as bad, and I'm pretty sure there's minor leaks from both of these spots. Alright, there we go. So you can see here the front part of the resonator, that's the part that's connected to the Y pipe, is pretty much destroyed at the front there. So I think that's obviously hindering some performance as well as some sound deadening or reduction of rasp rather, and that's the other side. So as you can see there, it's pretty well damaged both externally and internally, and I hate to say it, but that's what happens when guys slam their cars and you destroy a beautiful exhaust. I mean, this exhaust is, I think it's almost $2,000 brand new, and this is what happens when you slam your car and you hit stuff. So I'm not a fan of that. This car obviously is my daily. It's lowered on Swift springs. It's a minor drop. But even on my Z, that's track prepped, it's ready to go. It's lower than this. That still doesn't scrape. So I don't know, I'm a big fan of maintaining the quality and the integrity of your parts, and slamming your car causes a lot of problems. But anyway, that's a whole different topic. So I'm gonna start, I just gotta pull off the rear sections, the muffler section of the ARC exhaust, and then we'll start swapping in the Invidia, and we'll fire it up and see how it sounds. Alright, so even though I'm going to be putting this on as one piece, I went ahead and loosened these and put new gaskets in. A couple of them had some little leaks here. And I always like to put new gaskets in even if they look fine. The gaskets that are this type of material, they compress in between the 2 points, so once they're loosened and put back together, it may not seal as well. So I went ahead and put new gaskets in here, put these finger tight just so I can, align the exhaust properly once it's on the car. Alright, so now that it's all ready, we're gonna go ahead, start throwing this under the car and bolting it up. And just a little tip I use when I'm installing exhausts, I usually use the jack on the one side just to hold it up. This piece doesn't have any hangers, so I use the jack to hold it up on the one side, and then I'll lift it up and hook it up onto the test pipes. So it's kind of hard to film while I'm under here fighting with the exhaust hangers and everything, but the new system is on. It's still apart right there at those joints. So I'm just gotta throw a new gasket in there and bolts. And we got the rear section on as well. So if you're doing this yourself at home, you have the hanger here. Then you have one there at the rear of the muffler. And then maybe about a quarter way up the car on these mid pipes here. So this is why I leave everything loose. If you're gonna try and put it on kind of in 2 pieces, it gives you some room to maneuver everything around, get all the joints set up, and make sure you clear the rear sway bar. There's not much in the way there, but just want to keep all these loose so you can mess around with it, make sure it all fits, and get it on these hangers. Alright, so now that I got all the bolts in everywhere, finger tight like I said, I like to start where the Y pipe meets the test pipe or your cat, whichever you have. I like to make sure these are lined up well, nice and tight, and then I'll start working my way back and then making sure that the muffler sits and the tips sit well with the bumper and nothing's touching. It's a little bit of trial and error, just making sure everything's good to go. Alright guys, here we are again. Everything is tight. Before you go over everything and really snug it up good, I like to come back here, make sure everything is lined up as nice as it can be with the bumper. So we're good on that side. Good on that side. The muffler is straight in relation to everything. And I also like to go along the whole system and just shake it a little bit. Make sure there's no clunks or anything's hitting on any of the cross members, sway bar, anything like that. So looks like we're good. So I'm gonna go through, do a final torquing on everything, then we'll fire it up. Alright guys, so the exhaust is all complete, everything's tight, it's installed, I checked, there's nothing hitting the bottom of the car, there's good clearance on everything. So we're gonna go ahead, start it up. Let you hear how it sounds and check for any leaks. I apologize for the limited footage of me trying to get everything up on the car. Hopefully one day I will have a lift, but I'm still doing things on jack stands, so it's really hard to position the camera for good camera angles. So hopefully you guys got the gist. I showed you where all the exhaust hangers are. This is a really good first modification for someone. As long as you have a jack, 4 jack stands, and a few hand tools, you can make this happen. Another thing I do recommend, if you're buying a used exhaust, take the time and get all the same bolts. I reused the bolts, the nuts and bolts from my old exhaust, and I had to use a combination of, I think 14, 15, 16, and I think even 17 millimeter wrenches. So it kind of just makes it a pain, you're having to go back and forth, but this is kind of a rushed install, I guess, just trying to get this done for the day. So I didn't take the time and go get different, bolts, nuts and bolts that match. Let's go ahead, start this thing up and see how it sounds. So there it is, guys, a little startup video. I didn't want to rev it too much just because the engine's cold because it's been sitting here while I've been working on it. But I will be making a full exhaust video of startup, revs, acceleration, all that fun stuff that I know everyone loves. So I'm making that at a later date, just so you can get a good idea of what the exhaust sounds like. Right off the bat, it is much quieter than the Arc. Almost to the point where it kind of sounds stock, honestly. But we'll see how it sounds once I'm driving under acceleration, all that. It's definitely not a bad sound. It sounds very clean. So right off the bat, this is a great exhaust for someone who wants a little bit more noise, a little bit more tone, but isn't looking for something super crazy like the Motordyne or the Arc. I think those are the two best sounding exhausts for the G and Z platform, but they're also quite expensive. This exhaust is almost $1,000 less than those, so it's a good happy medium. The quality is there. I love Invidia products. I've had Invidia products on my old 06 SI, my S2000. I have many friends that have these Invidia products, so it's well built, it's a good quality, and it's a nice mild exhaust for anybody that's looking for some more noise, but nothing too crazy. And like I said in the beginning of the video, once I drive it around and get some exterior clips of it, I'll see what I think. I may be fixing the Arc and putting it back on. I do love how that sounds. So we'll see. Again, I'm not looking for crazy power, but I do like a good sound on this car. So I'm gonna try it out for a little bit. Either way, I'm gonna be getting that exhaust fixed, whether I'm gonna put it back on the car or sell it. So we'll just have to wait and see. So I do thank you guys for checking out this video. Again, an exhaust install is very simple. I would highly recommend it to someone that, just a garage mechanic, someone that's, gonna do this on the weekend. It's very simple. Just take some hand tools, some jack stands, and you're good to go. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to the channel. There's gonna be some changes coming with the channel and kind of my business model for my shop in 21. I'm gonna change some things around. I've been doing some things that aren't really working too well. So stay tuned for that. I will also be changing the name of my channel to match my business name. So I'm just looking forward to the new year, your support, and just hope you guys continue to enjoy the content. I still have the SI over here, the EM1. I'm going to be starting to work on that a little bit more. I've just been focusing on sales and selling parts and all that stuff. But I definitely want to get into more of the modification side of things. So like I said, I'm going to be changing some things in 21, and I hope you guys will be along for the ride. So again, thank you for checking out this video. I hope you guys keep on wrenching, and I will see you next time.